Hello again. Welcome to episode 14, Recruiting. So Whitney Schuyler, who was a rep, who then became a recruiter, who then became a rep again, she's just so well versed in every aspect of the business, and she's such a delight to work with. Anybody that knows Whitney knows exactly what I'm talking about. She works so hard. She's so good at what she does. She cares so much. But interesting stat, I want to throw a nice little Whitney stat at you guys. In the last 2 months, last 8 weeks, the average rep on Whitney's team has made over $1,000 per week. So Whitney's doing something right. She's leading a great crew. And she asks a great question: how has recruiting changed over your career? So I was thinking, okay, well, what are the differences? I mean, I've been in this space for, this will be 24 years. I mean, holy cow, that's a long time. So when I started in the business, there's newspaper ads. This is how people would look for work. They'd look through the wanted ads, and that changed. Obviously, things went online, things went digital. People would click on a post. Posts were in chronological order. So depending on when you posted, things would be up at the top or at the bottom. Then you could post your resume and employers would find you. Then you go on to pay-per-click, companies like Indeed, social media. I mean, it's a moving target. There's no question. How recruits and employers get matched is a moving target, and you do have to stay current. So those are the differences. And so whatever's happening today, I'm led to believe 6 months from now, there's going to be a different best practice on how to do that matchmaking. But where I wanted to go with this video is what has stayed the same? Like, what is consistent in the world of being a great recruiter? And I believe this to be true. All things being equal, people would rather work with people that they like. All things not being equal, people would still rather work with people that they like. So there's something in the likability piece of the business. I think of this wonderful book. Okay, behind me I've got all kinds of John Maxwell books, but this is certainly one of my favorites. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, The Law of Buy-in. Okay, John Maxwell says the law of buy-in, people buy into the person first, and then they buy into the vision. Let's unpack that a little bit. What he's not saying is, well, people buy into the person, not the vision. No, there's two elements. Again, if we're looking for buy-in, if we're looking to recruit, if we're looking to attract, if we're looking to be a magnet, that's a good picture I have for recruiting, is it's got to be magnetic. People buy into the person first, two elements, then they buy into the vision. Both of those pieces are important. So how do you get the person to buy into you? Let's just start with that. How do they buy into the individual? And so I just have a few questions to ask myself that maybe you want to ask yourself and you want to reflect on. Do people like you? There's a great book, The Likability Factor. Like, are you likable? Do people like being around you? Do you lift people up? Do your people know that you care? Or maybe even take that one step further. Do you care? Like, do you really care about the people that you work with? Is there a genuine interest in the people that you work with? Do you share memories together? I mean, the teams that play together, the teams that do sports together, the teams that go on adventures together, those great memories that are being made, special moments with special people, that is increasing the buy-in. That's increasing do people like the leader? I mean, so those are all important questions to ask yourself. Those are all really important details of being a great leader. Then, okay, what's the vision? What are you articulating? And I think a lot of people struggle with this, because you come into this business and you're now asked to create a vision. In most companies you work in, hey, the vision's already here. We've already established it. Now just go do your job. And you don't really have to think about casting vision. But in our business, it's like, listen, we want you to be an entrepreneur. We want you to start your own show. We want you to be the boss. So you have to create a vision within the big vision, right? There's a big picture going on for our industry, but what's your vision? What are you articulating? Are you clear of where you want to go? Is there clarity? Now, I'm not saying you have to be clear on a destination, like, well, I know I want to be in this city by this date. I'm not saying that. I'm just seeing the vision of where you see this thing going long term. I mean, I've always said, listen, I want to be in every city around the country, so it's not really even that important what city I'm in now. I want to be in every city around the country. Okay, so again, are you clear where you want to go? And here's the important piece too that shows the clarity of the leader and the leader's big picture. Do you back up that big picture with relentless daily pursuit? In other words, if you're talking the talk, but you're not walking the walk, well, then your words have no merit. People see right through that. I mean, I remember my leader, Rob Pobrin, would talk this insane game. He talked, big picture. He'd have the Rob Report magazine and, look at these exotic cars and the beautiful home and all this stuff. I had no reason to believe that this wasn't going to happen based on how relentless Rob was on an hour-by-hour, day-by-day basis. He backed it up. So I believe that one day would bleed into the next, bleed into the next, bleed into the next. And what he was saying was going to happen was probably going to happen. So again, the law of buy-in. People buy into the person first, then they buy into the vision. Super important to have both of those elements going on. And that's the consistency of recruiting when I first started and the recruiting today is, again, there's got to be that personal relationship. There's got to be people buying into the person. And of course, there's got to be great vision casting. That part's consistent. The other piece, again, moving target. I don't care how the world wants to match us. Will they match us in the metaverse in the next few years? Probably. Will you meet recruits in the metaverse shaking their digital hand and their avatar? Probably. Again, I don't care how the matchmaking happens. Match me. Then that's when I've got to be that magnet. That's when I got to go in and get the right people on the bus. I mean, if you look at the commonalities of Fortune 500 CEOs, I mean, this is just an interesting way to look at it. If you want to look at, like, what do they have in common? What do the Fortune 500 CEOs have in common? The only commonality that I've seen is, just picture a new CEO is going to Ford Motor Company. Okay, here's the new boss. Here's the new CEO. That person never comes alone. When the new CEO comes, so do a whole bunch of VPs and executives. Like, they know how to recruit. I can just picture behind the scenes a bunch of phone calls. Hey, listen, I'm about to take on a position at Ford. I'm about to be CEO. Listen, I need you. You got to come with. Okay, I'm there for you. Okay, great. Another phone call, another phone call. They bring in an army. They are fantastic recruiters. So don't underestimate the value of being a great recruiter in the business, in any business. You've got to be a magnetic recruiter. And again, the common theme, just think of the commonalities of just tried and tested over the years. It is always the same. People buy into the person, then they buy into the vision. It's got to happen. So hope that helps you, Whitney. Keep up the great work. Keep up the great team building. And I'll talk to you guys soon.